Sometimes I'll get asked why I make videos that push an agenda, and to that I say, what are you talking about? Kirby doesn't even have agenda. If you were to ask someone what Kirby's gender was, I'd be willing to bet you'd get one of two answers. Kirby is a boy because he's referred to with male pronouns in most instances, or Kirby's a girl because she's pink. Now, I'm sure from that question, your preconceived understanding of Kirby, and the title of this video, you suspect I'm going to drop a bombshell that Kirby is neither male nor female. But I think the answer is a bit more nuanced than just calling Kirby a non-binary icon and calling it a day. It's a Silvery Pride Month special. Let's talk about Kirby and gender. So let's get the obvious out of the way. In Western localizations of Kirby games, media, etc., Kirby is referred to with male pronouns. It's been that way since Kirby's Dream Land, which calls him a spry little boy in the instruction manual, and even as recent as Kirby and the Forgotten Land's Star-Crossed World, which isn't even out yet at the time of this video's release. Using male pronouns doesn't inherently confirm Kirby is male, but with no real evidence to the contrary, it's generally assumed that Kirby is male. If you only look at the series from a Western perspective. If we instead look at how Japan perceives Kirby, we'll see a very different story. The Japanese language doesn't use third-person gendered pronouns in general, so Kirby is never referred to as he or him. He's also never called a spry little boy, but rather a young person. Somehow referring to Kirby as a person is weirder to me. In the Japanese text of the games, Kirby is never described using clear, gendered terminology, though there are specific instances that hint at possible gender identities. For example, in Kirby Superstar, Kirby's dialect uses the Japanese personal pronoun kare, which is typically masculine. However, just because a character speaks in a more masculine way, it doesn't mean they're male. Often in Japanese media, you'll see tomboyish girls and women refer to themselves with masculine-leaning pronouns. And while it's always fun to headcanon characters as trans, simply talking like a boy is not an outright confirmation. Kirby's design doesn't lean in any direction, nor do any of the copyability designs. But if we look at spin-offs with alternate costumes like Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, Kirby Battle Royale, and Kirby Fighters 2, we can find designs that skew masculine and feminine. For every top knot and Pirate's Tricorn, there's a magical girl coiffure and cheer style. And that's without even mentioning the costumes that reference specific Kirby characters. Kirby wears the wigs of the girls and the hats of the gays. Star Ally? Yeah, I think so. This non-conformity extends outside the Kirby series as well. In Super Smash Bros., Kirby is just as likely to don the gruff stubble of a seasoned mercenary as he is to cosplay my sword wife. The Japanese new Nintendo 3DS commercial dresses Kirby up in some trendy, totally kawaii digs. Just call him Ranch, cause he's always dressing. You may see these outfits and think, so Kirby likes to dress up like a girl. Who doesn't? Which, totally fair. Cross-dressing or drag doesn't necessarily indicate any gender fluidity. It certainly can act as a gateway to deeper thinking about one's gender identity, but the whole gender spectrum is incredibly nuanced and uniquely personal on an individual-to-individual basis. What this large array of costumes does display, though, is a level of confidence and self-understanding that is truly admirable. Kirby isn't ashamed to dress like a woman or a man, and he's certainly not ashamed to dress like a tree, because no matter what silly outfit they put him in this time, he's still Kirby. There are, of course, other instances of Kirby's gender ambiguity. In official artwork on the Japanese Kirby Twitter, Kirby has been depicted as the Empress on Hina Matsuri, a Japanese holiday also known as Girls' Day. He can also be seen baking with the girls on Valentine's Day, but just as well, here he is making sweets with the boys for White Day. Kirby has also been used to market feminine products in Japan, specifically makeup and women's fashion lines. This is a stark contrast to his Western marketing, which originally aimed to present him as masculine as possible for a while. You tell me which of these designs feels more true to the character. But one of the most interesting pieces of information comes from the Kirby Right Back At Ya anime series. In episode 9, The Fofa Factor, we're introduced to the monster Slice and Splice. He has the power to slice, and also splice. Let me tell you, they were cooking with this one. In this episode, any character hit by Slice and Splice's blade gets split into two halves, a supposed male and female version of themselves. I say supposed because the male version has no visual characteristics to distinguish it as male, and the female version got a big bow. This isn't just the case with gender-ambiguous characters like Kirby and Fofa, the latter being split into Lololo and Lalala, but also King Dedede, a character who is unambiguously male. To me, this supports one of two theories. One, biological sex in the world of Kirby is complicated, as all creatures possess both male and female qualities. This somewhat aligns with the real world, both physically, most notably in embryo development, HRT, and our own innate DNA, and psychologically, posited by many prominent psychologists including Carl Jung. Characters in Kirby can exist as male or female, but when literally broken down into their core components, we find an even 50-50 split. This would suggest that the only thing separating the male and female characters in Kirby are their own specific gender identities. Though, this is assuming Slice and Splice would affect every character in the series the same way. Since the anime is an alternate canon, we're most likely never getting the answer. Also, Slice and Splice is dead. Alternatively, theory number 2. Transmask Dedede. Wow, learning all this information and speculating based on it is fun. But we actually do have an official confirmation regarding Kirby's gender. I know, shame on me for burying the lead. What can I say? I'm a shameless content creator. That's why I'm asking you to like and subscribe before the big reveal. Did you do it? Alright, cool. Without further ado, according to the official 20th anniversary Kirby Poo 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 Encyclopedia, Kirby's confirmed definitive gender is unknown. That's it? That's the big reveal? Silvery betrayed us! This isn't just a random piece of info from one specific guidebook. This has actually been corroborated by some very key people in the Kirby series. Kirby's voice actor, Mikiko Omoto, has gone on record on Twitter to confirm that Kirby's gender is unknown. And in a 2017 interview for the 25th anniversary Kirby concert, she talks about how she doesn't play Kirby as a boy or a girl, but rather emphasizes his naturalness and neutrality. When asked about Kirby's reaction to being kissed by Ribbon in Kirby 64's True ending, Omoto states that regardless of same or opposite sex, being kissed will evoke a bashful response from whomever. Not that we should even be humoring Kirby kissing other characters as confirmation of anything. The little freak has literally kissed 80% of the characters in his series. You might be thinking, Mikiko Omoto may be a very important figure in the Kirby series, but why should her thoughts hold any weight? She just voices the characters, she doesn't actually make the games. And if you are thinking that, first of all, how dare you? She knows more about Kirby than any of us could ever dream to know. Give her the respect she deserves. Was anyone even thinking that, or am I just picking fights with people that don't exist again? Either way, if you're looking for another source, how about this guy? Masahiro Sakurai, I believe his name is, most well known for designing the Mushi King LCD games. Also, he created Kirby, but feel free to fact check me on that. Sakurai has previously stated that Kirby's gender is unknown in a profile he had written for the original Super Smash Bros. It was also tweeted by third-party sources that he considers both Kirby and Meta Knight's gender a mystery. These quotes coming from the 25th anniversary concert as well. Of the two tweets we Kirby sources for this point, one of the accounts is private and the other is suspended. So this is a real dude just trust me point. I'm just gonna disregard it entirely because I don't feel like throwing Meta Knight into the mix. Hey, what did Kirby Fighters 2 mean when it labeled Meta Knight and Dedede as sworn partners? You know what, good for them, happy Pride. My absolute favorite statement from Sakurai on the matter of Kirby's gender comes from the original Super Smash Bros. Japanese website. One fan wrote in expressing surprise that Samus was a woman, and Sakurai responded, maybe Pikachu is also female, maybe Kirby is also female. The truth is shrouded in darkness. And brother, when it comes to anything definitive about Kirby, ain't that the truth? So, we know that Kirby's gender is unknown, but what do we do with that information? Well, anything you want. I'm just here to lay out the facts and make a funny haha every now and then. But How those facts shape your perception of this character is totally up to you. That's always been the beauty of the Kirby series. A lot of the information we're given is so vague and non-definitive that it's up to us to make of it what we will. The very essence of why we love and attach ourselves to these characters are primarily based on our own ideas about them. You can read Kirby as male, female, non-binary, transmasc, transfemme, fluid, really anything. And like, what am I gonna do? Tell you you're wrong? Do I look like a buzzkill? Don't answer that. The only confirmed answer is that the answer is unconfirmed. And if that lack of confirmation allows fans to further engage with conversation and better see themselves in the character, possibly allowing Kirby to more deeply resonate with them on a personal, intimate level, that's incredible. It's beautiful. It's poignant. At the end of it all we know for certain is that Kirby is Kirby. So allow me to ask, who is Kirby to you? Thanks for watching.